Hey you guys, happy Thursday. What's going on? I hope that everybody is doing well. Of course, y'all know it's Thursday, and here at the AFRO, that means it's time for AFRO Cooking Live. Tonight we're making something good, something that's perfect. We're kind of like the middle of like picnic season. The weather, I don't know what it's been doing. We all have been this week here in Ohio. It's been pretty good. These last few weeks has been a little crazy, but this week it's been pretty good. And like I said, it was the perfect weather for like a picnic or something like that. So I decided I wanted to do something that was a little light but really flavorful still. So today we're making salmon Caesar wraps. So I've got some salmon here that I've marinated. We're gonna go ahead and cook this off. Of course, we've got some tortillas, we've got some roasted peppers here, a little bit of shredded lettuce. We've got some prosciutto here, which is going to kind of act as like our bacon, so I like a little bit of saltiness to it. And then we've got all of our ingredients because we're making our Caesar dressing from scratch. So I see we've got some people in here. We're going to go ahead and get started. So first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and start on our Caesar dressing. So here, I'm going to move my tortillas out the way. I've got my food processor. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by adding in my egg yolks. So here I've got the yolks of 3 eggs. We're gonna go ahead and drop those in here. And then along with that, I'm gonna add in my Dijon mustard, which we have here. So we're gonna add this in. And then we're gonna start blending this and slowly add in some olive oil. So add our lid, take off this part right here, remove that, so that we can easily add in our olive oil. And then, so take off our olive oil lid, add it in here. We're gonna keep that going. And then I'm going to add in our garlic cloves. Here I've got about 4 cloves of garlic. There. We're going to continue to let this blend together. And to this, I'm then going to add in my lemon juice. Let this go. I can still kind of hear that garlic moving around in there, so I'm going to wait until that's really finely blended up. Take the lid off real quick, give it a look. Let's see what it needs. Welcome to those of you just joining us. You guys are tuning into AFRO Cooking Live. Tonight we are making salmon Caesar wraps. So let that go again. Now I'm going to add in some of our Worcestershire sauce. And then lastly, we're going to add in our anchovy paste. So I'm going to let all that kind of combine itself together. Take it out, add in some Parmesan, a little bit of black pepper, see what it needs, see what might need to add or take away. All right, I'm going to add in some Parmesan now. So you can use grated Parmesan if you have it, but here I just have shredded, but it's fine. It's gonna do the exact same thing, especially once we get it all mixed together. So add in a nice portion there. And like I said, a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. There's that. Hey, thank you for joining us. Hey, Miss Jewel and Miss Laura. Miss Laura, I know that earlier you were tuning in to Chicken Box earlier today. So we're gonna let our Caesar dressing go as they kind of further combine itself. And while this is continuing to mix itself together, I'm gonna get our pan heated up for our salmon. All right, let's give this a taste and see what it needs, see what it's tasting like. I'm gonna wash off my spoon real quick so that I don't get a mouthful of Dijon and anchovy paste and stuff. All right, let's see here. That is so good. I think I'm gonna add in this last little bit of lemon juice, and then it should be good to go. All right, we're gonna give this one last taste. Make sure that adding in that lemon juice didn't require us to add in anything else for our flavor profile. Perfection. Awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and set this aside until we're ready for it. Like I said, while that was blending together, I went ahead and got our pan nice and hot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add this last little bit of olive oil in there. And I might add just a little more just to ensure that our salmon doesn't stick tonight. Here I've got a little bit of vegetable oil. Add that in there too. Keep our surface nice and clean. All right, now here's the showstopper. Here is our salmon. I've had this marinating, I'd say maybe for about an hour or so, a little less than that. And I've got it marinating in some lemon juice, along with some garlic pepper, some pesto, and a little bit of Dijon. So it's got some really bold and flavorful and tangy flavors in there. Like I said, our pan's pretty hot. I'm gonna give it maybe another minute to heat up. And I've got 3 pieces of salmon here. It was one big piece, but I cut it into thirds. Let's see. I see some more people just joined us. Welcome, you guys. How are you? Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we're making salmon Caesar wraps. So we just got done making our Caesar dressing from scratch. So now we're gonna go ahead and cook off our salmon. We've got our pan heating up here. I think it's just about hot enough. I'm gonna take this first piece of salmon and we're gonna put it in skin side down. So there's that skin. Go ahead and add it in like that. Go ahead and wash my hands off. So as you can hear, our pan is good and hot because when we added it, it immediately began to sizzle. So I'm gonna wait until the skin of our salmon is lifting and then we'll be ready to flip it. And as that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a spatula. Let that skin get a little bit of crispness to it and then we'll be good. So like I said, we've got 3 pieces here. We just made our Caesar dressing for those of you who are just tuning in with us. We've got just some regular flour tortillas here, but I'm sure if you guys decided to use like a basil and sun-dried tomato one, like a spinach one, that would also do really, really well. I misspoke earlier, this is not prosciutto, this is speck, but it's another dried Italian meat. I know last week we used prosciutto. So I already cooked this off, and what I'm gonna do is kind of crumble it up, and these are gonna be like bacon bits for us. So it's gonna add a nice saltiness to it, but nothing that's overwhelming. And it's also gonna add a little bit of texture as well. Because what we're gonna do is take our salmon and kind of shred it or flake it, and then we're gonna add our Caesar dressing to it to kind of do like a chicken salad, if you would, but with salmon. All right, so our skin is starting to lift a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and flip our salmon. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add in our second piece. You don't want to overcrowd your pan, but these are fair size piece of salmon, and the pan's not too small or too big. So lay the other piece in there, skin side down. Let those cook. And of course, because it's fish, yes, it can be raw, but it can also kind of be like medium or fully cooked through. I'm gonna let these get some color on them, but not too much. Turn up our fire just a little bit. So right now we've got it sitting at a medium temperature, and we should be good to go. So I know that at the beginning of the video I mentioned that I chose to do this recipe because it's been really nice out this week, the kind of weather that makes you want to go to a picnic or have one. And this is kind of something that comes to mind whenever I think of picnics and stuff like that. So tell me, you guys, what has the weather been like when you guys are? I know that some people have been under air advisories because of the smoke that's coming from Canada with those ongoing wildfires that they're having. If that's the case, I hope that you guys are doing all right, and that nothing, you know, has gotten too bad where you are. But you go ahead and let me know what's going on. I know this weekend in the PG County area, they're having the Lake Arbor Jazz Festival, and it's supposed to be beautiful for that, I believe. So if y'all are heading out there, hopefully the weather acts right so y'all can enjoy yourselves. There's a weekend full of activity from what we talked about. So all right, so we're gonna let our salmon go ahead and cook, and I think that I'm going to prepare the rest of our wrap as we wait on it. So here I've got a tortilla, and then I've got some garlic and spice cream cheese that I got from my local deli / bakery. And so I'm gonna add this, and this is kind of like the glue that helps us roll up our wrap once it's ready to go. I'm then going to add on some shredded lettuce here. We just got some iceberg, and I'm just doing just a little bit, not a whole lot. But this is just gonna add kind of like that garlicky flavor that we've got going with our Caesar dressing. So we've got our cream cheese laid on. Like I said, not a whole lot, just enough to help us kind of glue everything together. Then I've got some roasted tri-colored peppers here. I just took these peppers, cut them up, put them in my oven, let them roast themselves. I'm gonna add on a little bit of these. See if I can get a piece of orange, get it all in there. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of shredded lettuce as well. So lay that on, and then we're gonna go ahead and check on our salmon as well. So we just flipped our second piece of salmon, and our first one is almost done. We're gonna give that probably about another 2 minutes. Then scoot over our other piece and put in that last piece. And like I said, we're gonna go ahead and flake this, add some of our Caesar to it, and it's gonna be super good, and it's gonna be ready to eat, y'all. I promise you this recipe is super duper easy. It's not difficult at all. Salmon is super good. I was about to say, recently, people have gotten really versatile with what they do with salmon. So absolutely. Miss Laura, that's a great question. I really don't know. I don't know a lot of people my age who are, you know, super duper dedicated to cooking. I got a lot of friends who definitely like to eat. I got a lot who are definitely interested in cooking. But as far as, you know, like you said, being committed to it, I'm sure there's more than just myself. But thank you so much. right, so like I said, because we're gonna flake this anyway, I'm gonna take this first piece of salmon out and just add it into our bowl here. We're gonna scoot over our second piece and then add in that last piece of salmon we have. All right, skin side down. There we go. And then lucky for us, the skin is always super good, but we don't need it today actually. So it just came right off. We're gonna go ahead and separate this a little bit. I'm gonna grab 2 forks. Get the rest of this skin off. And we'll set this aside. I'll eat this later on. Have that for like a little snack or something. So here's our first piece of salmon. Like I said, we've kind of got it broken up here, flaked a little bit. I'm gonna wait till the second piece is done, remove the skin from that as well, then add our Caesar dressing, put it in here, it'll be good to go. All right, our second piece of salmon is done. I'm gonna give that a second to cool. And then this third piece is in here kind of doing its own thing. I'm gonna let that work. Grab our fork again. Like I said, get this skin separated from the fish itself. Ooh, this fish is hot, y'all, but it smells so good. And if y'all are able to, I'm about to say, it's always great to remove the skin before cooking the fish, but I was having a little bit of trouble with this, so I said, you know what, we'll just remove it after it's cooked. It's fine. There it is. Now it's coming off like butter. Awesome. So we got that skin off. Like I said, now we're left with nothing but just the meat of that fish. Kind of take our fork and break it up a little bit more. So there it is. I'm going to take some of this speck that we crumbled up earlier and add just a little bit of it in here. All right, and then we're going to add in our Caesar dressing now. So for those of you who just might be joining us, we made this earlier in the show from scratch. So this is a mixture of egg yolks, olive oil, anchovy paste, some Parmesan, some lemon juice, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some lemon, and then some fresh cracked black pepper. And I think that should do it. Like I said, we're going to kind of do it like you would do a chicken salad. So we want to get all that salmon covered in that Caesar dressing. Now we're going to add it to our wrap here, which we already prepped. So we laid down a little bit of garlic and spice cream cheese earlier, which is going to help us kind of like seal everything together. Working out our glue. We put some roasted peppers in here along with some shredded lettuce. And then we just added in our tuna, or not our tuna, I'm sorry, our salmon, excuse me, wrong fish, along with our Caesar dressing. So now I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. All right, and then of course y'all know we got to cut it, get that cross section. Let's go ahead and flip our last piece of salmon here though. Gonna turn down our fire just a little bit. So here's our wrap. We're gonna go ahead and cut into it and then give it a taste. There's that cross section. Let's have a bite. The Caesar dressing is salty and savory, just like you know Caesar dressing is supposed to be. But then it's balanced out with that little bit of sweetness we got from these roasted peppers. The lettuce is super refreshing. And then this salmon, it just tastes so fresh. Like, you know how fish is supposed to taste like fish, but you don't want it to have a fishy taste. That's exactly what the salmon is doing. I see we've got some new people who joined us. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the comments. Yes, so anchovy paste adds like an umami flavor to it. So like savory, or umami as people refer to it as. It can add a little bit of salt as well. Let's see. We're going to wrap up this last piece of salmon here. It's just about all done. We're going to go ahead and take this, add it to our bowl. Put our pan in our sink. A little smoky in here. A little bit, I was about to say. You always know whenever we kind of deglaze that pan and put the water on it, it's going to give us some smoke back. But as I was saying, you guys, that roasted pepper gives a little bit of sweetness. The salmon is really, really fresh. It doesn't have like that fishy taste in a bad way. It just tastes like salmon. Like it tastes like salmon, which was about to say we didn't quite grill it. We definitely, what is it? Seared. Excuse me. There it is. So the salmon is really, really good. It's working with the Caesar. Like I said, it's got that saltiness going. I'm gonna get another bite. Hold on. Let's see. With that bite, I could taste the Parmesan and the Caesar dressing. Super good. Like I said, that roasted pepper still giving us that little bit of sweetness to balance out the savoriness and the saltiness of it. And then this isn't heavy at all. Like I've taken 2 bites and you sometimes you're like, oh, like this is such a heavy dish. I do not feel like that about this. I'm probably gonna finish this entire thing. Scale of 1 to 10, I give this, I'm gonna select an 8.9. Super creative way to use salmon. If you've got some in your freezer, if you see it on sale at your local grocery store, I say grab it, try out this recipe. You're gonna love it. Like I said, it's really nice out, so even if you want to, you can grill your salmon and then flake it, or you can cook it how we did. Making this dressing, as you saw, took us absolutely no time, so I definitely recommend it, whether you use it for a salad or for a wrap or for whatever. Make this Caesar dressing. Y'all, this is so good. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to eat in front of y'all no more, though. But all right, everybody. That was another episode of Afro Cooking Live. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us today. If you don't already, follow us here on Facebook at Afro American Newspaper, and follow us on Instagram and every other social media platform at Afro News. We are getting on Threads, so y'all just wait. I promise it's on the way. For those of you who are keeping up to date with all things social media, we're starting to get there, so just bear with us. We'll be about to say you can keep up with all things Afro on Threads here soon as well. Yeah, I hope that you guys like this recipe. I hope that you guys try this recipe. If you do, please let us know. We love to see when you guys try things. If you haven't already, buy the Afro's Keepsake Cookbook. There are recipes that you're guaranteed to love, some by me, some by some other people. But Like I said, I'm not going to eat in front of y'all anymore, but I'm about to finish up this wrap and then I'm going to clean up this kitchen. So I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.